Hi guys, Alan here, out in the game room. Welcome to the In the Game Room podcast. I want to talk to you guys about something tonight that will apply to anybody that paints miniatures most likely, and that is how you mix your paints. Of course, there's always this. This is the standard way to mix paints. There's things you can use to stir it, there's mechanical devices that you can use to mix, and I'm going to talk about some of the ones that I've used in the past and something new that I just picked up and something I picked up several months ago and did a podcast about, and talk about what I like to do and what I don't like to do. So, I've been using model paints for, 50 years now almost. Not quite, I'm sorry, 40 something. And I've used all kinds of different paints. Used Model Masters from Testers, Polyscale and Flowquill for model railroading, Tamiya acrylics, the Vallejo and Army Painter, just about you name it. Testers going all the way back to the the square glass bottles, and Humbrol and the little metal tins they used to come in. They all have their own needs for mixing. One of the devices that I've used for a really long time that is good for most of these paints that I've just mentioned is this mechanical mixer from Badger Airbrush Company. It has a little agitator on the bottom, and when you press the button that spins. Just put that down into the bottle and turn it on and kind of mix it around, and it mixes up the paint real nicely. And I've had one of these forever, and it works great on paint that comes in decent sized bottles like these guys. Just get down in there and mix them up, and it works real great. I like it. Problem is, it doesn't work so great in bottles like the dropper bottles. And also another problem with this is that every time you use it, you're sticking it in the paint, so you're cleaning it every time. Not a big deal, but it's something to consider. It's something that you have to clean every time you use it, and you got to clean it well or you're going to start mixing up paints. So this is from Badger Airbrush Company. It's doesn't really have a name. It's their paint mixer, and like I said, I've been using this for a really long time. I don't think this is my first one. Probably had a couple of these, but all it is a little electric motor, a couple batteries, a stick, and a thing. You could probably make something like this, but this is just so handy, why would you? So there's that. That's pretty cool. The other thing that I've been using for a really long time is this little device here made by Robart. If you're into flying model aircraft, RC airplanes, Robart as a company that's well known for making hinges, wheels, other bits of hardware and things like that. And for some reason they also make a hobby paint shaker. Now this guy here, it normally comes with a rubber strap that has various holes in it, so it can accommodate different size bottles. That strap over time breaks, and then you just use rubber bands. You can buy replacement straps, but I don't know anybody that does. We just use rubber bands. But this is an electrical device, obviously. Plug it in, you put that on there, put a rubber band around, and you just press the button, and it does that. It's just jiggling back and forth pretty quickly. And that works pretty good for most paints. Let me get this off of here. Even for, where did I put them? Even for Vallejo paints. I don't know if Citadel probably wouldn't work in here. I'll have to get one and find out. But that just rubber bands in like that, and it just shakes back and forth. And sometimes you can tip it up, tip it down, whatever, if you want to, help it shake. But so this is pretty cool. This is definitely not my first one. This is my second one. They last a really long time. My first one had a problem between this black piece here that moves and the case. They were rubbing on each other, and eventually what happened is the plastic here just kind of melted and fused, and it just became one. So I had to buy another one, but they last a really long time. This one here has been in the shop for about 9 years, I think, and it works perfect every time. So this is pretty cool, and it works for most things, and it works really well. And this has been my go-to paint shaker. Let me show you something that you may recognize, because I did a podcast about this. It could have been even a year ago. I'm not even sure how long ago it was. This is a paint shaker that I bought on Amazon, and it's technically a nail polish shaker. That is what it is. I'm going to grab another paint bottle. I'll be right back. Okay, so this one, as far as I know, is only good for 26 millimeter diameter dropper bottles like Vallejo, Army Painter, and maybe a couple of others, just because of the way this thing works, this hole here. Drop in the Vallejo paint there, put that on top, and you turn that on. And this is a very smooth running machine. It's very heavy. This is cast metal. It's very sturdy. I think this thing is probably going to outlive me. The problem with this paint shaker is that the action that's happening here is it's a rotary action. This is turning and going up and down. So the bottom of the paint bottle, where all the solids are, it's really not moving that much. It's moving up and down a little bit, but it's not moving back and forth. This end of the bottle is moving back and forth and up and down. So all the good shaking is really happening at the top of the bottle, and not so much at the bottom of the bottle where it needs to happen. And even though on video this thing looks like it's hauling ass, but it's really not moving that fast. So it's not really violently shaking the hell out of the paint bottle. It's kind of just, you know, kind of shaking it gently. So this does not work real well. I imagine if I turn this on and let it run for about a half hour, this would be fully mixed perfectly. But that's not what I want a paint mixer for. I want to grab a bottle, I want to put it on the mixer, and then use it. So this has not worked out well for me. Like I said, it's more of a time issue. I think if you let it run long enough, you know, if you let anything run long enough, it's going to mix the paint. But it hasn't worked for me. And unfortunately, it was very expensive. Well, not very expensive. I mean, it was like $100. So so I don't use it very much. But here, this I can kind of demonstrate where the top of the bottle would be up here, if you know, when it's in the spring. So you can see the top of the bottle is just moving kind of straight up and down. Which the top of the bottle meaning this end. The bottom of the bottle is just moving straight up and down, as I was trying to explain earlier. And the other end of the bottle, which is actually the top, is the one that's moving back and forth and up and down. So it's getting a pretty good shaking. But the end that really needs it the most is not getting such a great shaking. So I don't like this one. I bought it. I still have it. It's here if I need it, but I really don't use it, and I probably should sell it or something. But now that I'm telling you guys what crap it is, I probably won't be able to sell it, so there it is. Last but not least, something that I just ordered on Amazon a couple days ago, and it got here today. I think this little gem here is my new paint shaker. This is made by a company called Lab Genius, and it is the Lab Genius Mini Vortex Mixer. Let's see if you guys can see that. Got this on Amazon. It is also about $100, but it is really well made. Of course, this was really well made too. I just don't think it was well designed. But this is really well made. It's designed for using in laboratories. What it's supposed to be used for is shaking up, what do you call them, test tubes. So it's, you know, it's made for that environment. It's made for constant use. It's very heavy, very sturdy, and it has these little rubber feet on it. And what it does, plug it in here, it's so easy, no switches or anything. What you do is you just take your paint bottle, touch it on here, and just push down. And it is shaking the hell out of this really, really fast. You may not even be able to see on the video the speed at which it's shaking. And it's shaking it in a circular and, you know, all axis, pretty much, except up and down. So it's a circular thing. That's why they call it a vortex shaker. And it's super simple to do, and it literally just takes a couple of seconds to get a bottle completely shaken up. Now I have this bottle of Ultra Matte Varnish from AK, and it's about half full. And I put it on here to see, of course, if it will accommodate a larger bottle, and it will. But it also demonstrated to me how well this thing shakes, because this is about half full. And I don't know if you'll see this or not, but as I do it, after a few seconds, or after about a second, the swirling liquid will actually rise up all the way up to here, which means it's coming up out of the bottom, and it's mixing that thoroughly. Let's see if you can see that. That's all the way up at the top now. So that liquid is going everywhere inside there. So it's getting a really good shaking. Here's a bottle of Vallejo Red. This is a brand new bottle. As you can see up here in the top, there's some white. Down here, it's all the way red. So this is completely separated. It's been sitting on the shelf for a long time. I'm going to put this on here for a few seconds and see what happens. And again, I hope you guys can see what happens. I can see it changing color up here right now. It's gone to completely red, just like the bottom. So really, in just a few seconds of shaking, I'd have to pour some out to make sure, but it looks to me like it's fully shaken up. So what normally happens when you open up a bottle of Vallejo paint and you haven't shaken it is you start squeezing it out and you get just this kind of milky, it's the paint without any pigment. It's the carrier, the medium. So now it looks to me like that's not going to happen with this guy. Same story here with the gold. All the gold is the pigments on the bottom. At the top is just kind of this milky clear. Brand new bottle. See what happens. I can see the gold at the top now. And that paint bottle is ready for use. So this is really kind of amazing. You could even go upside down, I guess, if you wanted to, if you needed to for whatever reason. But I like this because it's so fast. I can grab a paint bottle off the shelf, touch it on here for a few seconds. Even if I just used it yesterday or the day before, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to get in the habit of touching it on here for a few seconds and then using it to make sure that it's fully mixed. Now this probably, let's see, I haven't even tried this yet. Yeah, not a problem. You can use this kind of wants to walk off a little because it's not getting down into that bit there. But it's kind of shaking the hell out of it. But it is made for smaller items. Like I said, it's designed for test tubes. So a little bottle like this is kind of just about right. And like I said, there's no switches or anything. It's just you press it down and it starts. You take it off and it stops. So the old-fashioned agitator here, that works pretty cool, but again, you have to clean it all the time. So, and it's good for the bigger bottles. Honestly, I've never even tried to stick it in one of these, and I don't know. See if I can get this off. It doesn't look like it's gonna fit. Yeah, it wouldn't even go inside one of these bottles. So it is best suited for, you know, sort of these style bottles. Then you got the Robart paint shaker, which I just saw online today on Facebook. Somebody else bought something very similar to this on eBay. It was marketed as a nail polish shaker, but it worked exactly the same way, and it looked like it even had the same mechanism and the same strap that comes with this, so it might be the same thing, just kind of rebranded. So that works great. This thing here, I don't know about it. It's like I said, I think it's just going to take a long time to mix something. So if you got time and you want to put something in and let it go, this might be okay. But for the same price, you can get this guy here, and this guy here will mix your paint in a few seconds. So like I said, I think this is my go-to shaker now. And I can hear a few of you out there right now saying, well, just use a toothpick, or just pick up the damn bottle and shake it. Yeah, you can do that. I think this is faster. I think it's going to mix better. And guys like me with arthritis in my hands, shaking paint is a giant pain in the ass. I can do it for a little while, but after a while, the pain in my hand gets really bad. I mean, it seems ludicrous that something this light and this small would cause pain in the hand, but really it has nothing to do with this. It's just I could just shake my hand. After a while it'll start to hurt. So having this, being able to do that for a couple of seconds and have your paint shaken up is a kind of a cool thing. So I got this today, like I said. I haven't even really used it other than what I'm showing you here. So I'm going to put it on the bench and put it to use. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to love it. And if that's the case, this guy's going to get put away on a shelf somewhere as kind of a backup. This guy I don't know what I'm going to do with. And this guy I keep around for bottles. So these are kind of my, I guess these are my two now. So hopefully that gave you a little bit of information. Again, this is the mini Vortex Mixer from Lab Genius. I think it's like exactly $100, or maybe it was 101 or something like that. It was on Amazon Prime with free shipping. Got here in a day. It looks like a winner. I'm going to recommend it. I'll let you guys know, in a couple of months or whatever, if I can remember to let you know how it's going. But just based on a quick couple of tests, I think it's amazing. I think it's going to do a really good job. So there you go. That is paint mixers. I don't have anything else to add tonight, I don't think. I think we'll just leave it at that. This is an episode about paint mixers, and that's what you got. So there you go. So until next time, keep on gaming.